They look good for the camera. So, what's up, y'all? My name is Avery Maskey, and today I just really want to talk about my trip to Ireland. I leave in a few days, and I'm kind of terrified. Yeah, I'm so scared. Like, it really just, when I just said that, it really just clicked in that I'm gonna fly over to a new country I've never been to before. I've never been outside the country, let alone traveled alone. And I'm gonna camp for 2 or 3 days and city hop for the rest. And yeah, that's weird. Like, it really just kind of clicked. Like, wow. It's easy to scroll on Instagram and you look around like all these travel channels or travel pages. And you're like, wow, like I would really love to go do that. I really want to go to Australia. I really want to go to New Zealand. I want to see Papua New Guinea. Right? Like all these really cool places people travel, but they never really talk about the side of like the emotional aspect. So I mean, this is my first trip alone. So our first trip ever planning something like this. I imagine maybe in the next couple of years when I start traveling a lot more, I'll have a complete different view on it. But right now it's so scary because there's so much unknown, and I'm leaving in a few days. Like I just have like a couple buses packed or buses planned, and that's it. I got my uh, two flight to Ireland and my return flight, and then I got a bus to the first city, and I'm gonna take a bus to the second, and then start hiking. I'm gonna do the County Galway section of the Western Way, and there is going to be a mountain range called the Montauks, hopefully. Mountain range. I kind of planned it out where hopefully this is like the off season, the end of January, in the beginning of February. Um, so I tried to plan it out where I could hit the weather at the perfect time, and it seems like I'll have perfect weather. At least, God willing, I'll have perfect weather. That I will be able to hit this really hard and hit this perfectly. It takes about it should take about 2 days really to go over this mountain range, and so I'm giving myself I'm figuring 3 days altogether. Um, to get to the base of the mountain, sleep one night, go across the mountains, and give myself 2 days, and hopefully find kind of a place I can camp in the mountains. Um, and I've tried to watch a lot of videos and people talking about it, but there isn't really a lot of information online. So I have the map downloaded in this app called Hiker. I've watched tons of videos, which, well, I say there's not a lot of videos, not a lot of informative videos. There's videos of people with like, from like 2010 walking around with like handy cams and like getting these stupid shots, or they don't really show the path of the mountain. They kind of just show some basic general ideas of it, and that's kind of more difficult for me since I've never been to this country and I've never done something like this ever. I've hiked a lot of mountains and I've climbed a lot of mountains. Climbed by just like hill walking or walking up them, but I've never like climbed. But I've never done something like this where I have to kind of chart my own way. So I'm really interested how it's gonna go. Um, yeah, then I'm gonna spend the rest of the time city hopping and looking around, but it kind of hits you that like, wow, I'm gonna be on my own. So my own choices are really gonna matter here. Like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And I really hope that this is gonna be a way to kind of learn about myself, I guess would be a good way to put it, because I'll be by myself for majority of the time if I'm not in a city or in a hostel. So I'm so excited. I really am excited to see how this is going to turn out, and I'm also terrified at the same time. The terrifying part is like the unknown, since I've repeated like 5 times this video, first time for everything, right? Um, but that when that really hits you, like that feeling, it's different than just saying it. Anyone who's planning on doing a trip like this or planning on going out in the world, I highly recommend reading as much as you can. Like I didn't even leave yet, and like I've read so much about Ireland, The little information you can find about the trails I want to do were very helpful to kind of like uncover the mist a little bit from my situation, but it doesn't fully show everything. You know what I mean? So it's still going to be a great mystery and a great experience, but it's going to be difficult. And that's kind of what I'm really looking forward to be honest with you, is like how difficult this challenge is going to be. And yeah, Ireland's cool, man. I haven't been here yet. I'm so excited. Like, it's all I can think about. And a topic I want to talk about related to this Ireland trip and like how this came to be was, I guess I went back to all the series of events that happened to like where I am now. And number one, I'd start paying rent from my parents. All right. So that meant I had to get a job. The job pay rent because nothing is free. There is no free lunch. So I started working this job. I'm a plumber, and I don't know, the monotony of life where you just get up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, get ready for work the next day really wears on you, especially as a younger person where you're trying to learn that schedule and the adjustment period. So I've been a plumber for a little bit under 2 years now, and it's all right. You know what I mean? It's not my favorite thing on earth, but it's a job. It's a job. I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot about myself and the world. So that's good. But it makes you really think like, damn, dude, like I want to do other things. Like I need something else in between this time to kind of like look forward to. So that kind of led me to figure out like, well, the podcast, Newcomers Podcast, check it out. But also figure out like what am I gonna do? Like what should I do? What should I be working towards? And choosing a trip and choosing to travel so far have been something really good to work towards. You know, especially everyone has low days, especially the low days in work. That's what really gets you going. You know what I mean? And like that's what keeps you going like and through your life. And you think about like, wow, man, like I need to go up and go to work today because I need food for this trip. I need a place to sleep for this trip. I need a new tent, steaks, backpack, food. What am I gonna do? You know, like it really kind of puts in perspective that there is something greater happening. And it's like a good midterm goal, like a travel. So like a big goal, like so in my example as a plumber, a large goal would be to get your license or open up your own company one day. So that's good. That's a really long goal, but that's a multi-year goal. And you need something in between that isn't really work related. Sorry. It really isn't work related, so you have something to kind of look forward to. And that's where the traveling came in. That's where Ireland came in. I found a flight that was super cheap to Ireland. I Googled it, and it's their off season, so I was like, oh, perfect. Like, that's what I want to do. I like going to places people don't go. My favorite place I went so far was South Dakota. I've always stayed in the U.S. primarily, or only exclusively. So I went to South Dakota last summer, and that was awesome. That was such a cool trip. South Dakota is such an awesome state, but no one goes there. Who's going to South Dakota? Nobody. Right? Ireland. Who's going to Ireland in January? They're off season. It's wet. It's cold. It rains a lot. It's miserable sometimes. From what I've read, I've never been there, but it seems like it's just cloudy with a chance of meatballs 24/7. And that's why I like the kind of brutality aspect of it. Right? I'm even cold soaking my food there, so I'm not even gonna bring like a stove or anything because I want it to be bigger of a challenge. Something harder and rougher that like I'm gonna work towards and overcome. People usually don't hike this trail I'm hiking or hike this mountain range during this time because it's just so miserable. At least that's what I've read from the forums where I posted and people called me crazy for like wanting to hike this trail in fucking torrential downpour, or however you say that word. And it's like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah, I'm doing that. I don't care. I don't care what other people think. You know, am I gonna die? No. Then it's just really sucks. You know, it's just really rainy. It's gonna be brutal. I'm gonna be cold, and I'm so excited for it. That's one thing I've learned with the planning was that my sense of fun is something where I'm physically pushing myself to a point where I don't know if I can continue. So to prepare for this trip, I did the Petona Trail, New Jersey Pine Barrens. I live right down the road from that, so it's kind of was the easiest trail to do. I did it in 2 days. The first day I did 22 miles, and the second day I did 27. So, dude, like that was awesome. I'm so grateful for that experience because pushing yourself in that way, dude. Like the second day, the last like 15 miles, I could barely walk. Like, oh, my muscles were so torn up and shredded. Like my glutes, the hamstrings. My hamstrings were destroyed, and my glutes and just all my legs murdered. Right, walking, trying to push myself to get to the next step, keep going, and it's like, dude, I was so happy. My parents picked me up at the end of the trail, and I was never happier. I really realized like how much I loved every second of that. And so that's why I chose to go to Ireland in the off season. I chose to choose this mountain. I chose to go and walk because it's like, dude, I want to do something that's difficult and push myself physically to learn about myself. But also that feeling of accomplishment when you finally finish that, it's euphoria. There's nothing better than that. That's one of the best things in the world because it's you. It's you, and you worked so hard for it, and you achieved it on your own. And no one else helped you. No one else walked that. They can't move your legs for you. You did that. They can't climb the mountain for you. You climbed it. So I'm not trying to make this motivational to go out and go hike, but if you haven't done that before, go and do it. You have nothing to lose. I mean, you could die, but you're gonna die anyway. So why not die doing something cool? Like, no, like read into it, you know what I mean? Like maybe watch a YouTube video or something, but like for real, dude, it really is one of the best things hiking. And the reason I got into hiking was because my family was into it. So hopefully the next video coming up, you can take something from it. You know, and I'm gonna be posting the rest of my Ireland trip.